Hey everyone, welcome to a winning edition of the Bolt Crew podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, Mario Heron. Chargers win 23-16 after the bye week. And that's what you're supposed to do after bye week, right? You're supposed to have wins. You're supposed to see what you are. Can you put it together? We spoke about this before. It's one of the things that makes elite teams elite teams. Andy Reid was able to do it and continues to do it over and over again throughout his coaching career. Did it in Philadelphia, does it in Kansas City. And Jim Harbaugh proved he can do it as well. And guys, I say it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks. You know what's coming, though, man. It's Victory Cigar time. That's what we're rolling here. All right. Got the Victory Cigar waiting to go. It's been ridiculous. We've had to wait this long, but it's been a long time. So, again, we'll go with the Victory Cigar. Chargers, big win. Super excited about it. And, Josh, I'll let you start first, man. What's your opinion as far as the way they came out today?
The way they came out was amazing. I was really happy as a Charger fan to see Greg Roman open up the offense, right? The one thing that we said, thing we said during the bye week was open up the offense, do something creative, show us something different that you haven't shown us yet. And the Chargers did exactly that. Justin Herbert was throwing the ball all over the field. The team looked great. The defense has been constant all year long, Mario. They've been consistent. And then the second half is a different story. But if we're going to talk about the first half, one of the best teams in the NFL. Second half, a completely different story.
I'm with you. Trying to focus on the positives really quickly because it was a big win. Dominating the Broncos from first quarter to third quarter. I think it's the safest route to say. And Herbert's best game, right? I mean, at halftime, he had the most pass yards he's had all season long. Tied for the most passing attempts he's had all season long. Completion-wise, it was some of his best work as well. So it was the most balanced we've ever seen this offense this year. And to me, Dave, that is an amazing sign. Is the run game was clicking and our pass game was clicking, and we haven't had that all year long. And if you would have told me who was the team we would do that to first, I don't think I would have known it would be the Broncos at all. I would have bet the Panthers we'd have done that on them, but instead we do it against a divisional team in their stadium. That's a hard place to play. Very good, very great win for the Bolts.
It was a great win for obviously for the Chargers. They needed this win. At the same time, the Broncos, they were thinking, hey, we're turning the corner. We're the playoff team. They're telling their fan base, we're the team that can sit there and make a run. At the same time, this is not a shot at what the Chargers are. We speak about this a lot, and a lot of times people get upset because we know you want the team to win. So do we. Can't say that enough. But talent for talent, this is not one of the more talented teams in the league. What they showed me today was they did what they could do with everything they have, right? I mean, we talk about smoke and mirrors all the time, but this is one of those deals where you don't have one of the best tight ends in the league. You don't have the best receiving core in the league. At the same time, you were able to sit there and call the plays, use a couple things that were maybe a little bit surprising to the Broncos, and you were able to pull it off. Now, can you do this every single week? We're depending on it. Real quick, I want to touch on this because I don't know what you guys were thinking. But when Jim Harbaugh left at the beginning of the game, and at first I'm thinking, I had my head turned away from the television and I heard Jim Harbaugh's leaving. I was like, probably his stomach hurts, ate something bad, who had one of those Rocky Mountain oysters. He's just going to the bathroom. But when you see the entire medical staff leave with him, I was concerned. I was like, this is not good at all. And you always look at Jim Harbaugh as being one of those guys. Yeah, he's in his 60s, but at the same time, he's in great shape because he jumps into the pile all the time. And he's one of those guys that's enthusiastic. The fact for him to leave a game once it started, I thought was very concerning.
I thought it was concerning. The first thing that popped in my head was altitude sickness. Is that not what you thought? I've seen my Lakers fall apart in Denver. I see my Chargers fall apart in Denver. And then when Jim Harbaugh falls apart, I'm like, we can't have nice things. This is why my teams can't have nice things. I'm just happy Jim Harbaugh came back in the second half. I don't know if you guys thought this as well, or anybody watching the game. Greg Roman is the assistant head coach. We all know that. If something happens to Jim Harbaugh like it did today, Greg Roman is making the decisions. I was thinking, don't let Jesse Minter make any decisions because he's our pride and joy. We need to keep him. If he does great today as an audition as a head coach, he might be out the door next season, which he probably will be anyway. But I was thinking, let Greg Roman call the plays and make all the hard decisions about the game clock. Don't let Jesse Minter touch that because he's our best coach that we have on the staff, not named Jim Harbaugh. And he might be the best coach we have, period, Mario. This guy can make water from wine. I mean, this guy is insane. He can do everything with this defense. All three levels of the defense have gotten better since Brandon Staley has walked out the door.
It makes me think, what would have happened if we had a competent defensive mind the past 3 years? How good could this team been? Like, seriously. The defense was phenomenal. And especially like to start off that game and just threw it out. The Broncos never really felt comfortable. And the secondary was phenomenal. Like, they were all over the place. And like if we're being honest, the pass rush was, I would say, good, not great today. We could really benefit from, not just always sprinting at the quarterback that we're trying to tackle, but man, breaking down, staying a little agile on the feet, that could have helped about 4 times today. Yeah, I counted. But the secondary, I think, give them all the game football. I mean, they played their best game, and we helped them out on the offense side of the ball, and that's fantastic too. I'd also like to give a lot of credit to Darius Davis. I thought he had a very good game, stepped up in the kind of the ground game with Gus Edwards out. That was also huge. And another game where I think Ladd really took a step, Dave.
He did. I mean, we we spoke about this a lot, right? About getting the targets to Ladd. Ladd has to be a guy that you have to target. He had 8 of them today. Okay, so he had 8 targets. He had 4 receptions. At the same time, he was hurt a lot. I mean, it was kind of concerning, not for the fact that just today that, hey, man, this guy's banged up today and he's playing through it. But I'm thinking, is this guy like going to make it through, his NFL career kind of deal? Right. I brought this up a few weeks ago, but Bob Sanders, when he played for the Colts, like it looked like he was tackling cars on the freeway. And we're like, well, he's not going to play long, but as long as he plays, he's going to be great. Ladd McConkey has to figure something out. I mean, not saying he's not tough, but the announcer made a point about it. The way he goes himself wide open for an injury. And there's something to be said for the way you get tackled, the way you fall. And it's true. I know he's trying to get extra yards, but man, he is leaving his back and his ribs exposed big time.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing when Ladd McConkey went into like a crouch position and then he got hit in the ribs and he was laying on the ground. He had to be walked off the field. I'm thinking Keenan Allen was probably onto something, even though Keenan Allen is not a guy you want to look to as someone to follow health-wise. He was smart in the way that he would go down when he knew he probably was not going to break a tackle. He wasn't going to get more yards. Ladd McConkey's obviously much smaller than Keenan Allen. I'm cool with Ladd McConkey making the catch and then just dive into the ground once there's 2 guys there or somebody there that he's not going to get past. Do you feel the same way, Mario? You're on mute, big guy.
Oh, sorry, time stuff. That's the same thing as the Amon-Ra St. Brown thing, right? Like we saw in the Netflix series. Why'd you go down? Why didn't you try to go longer? He's like, I had 3 guys around me, and I'm not 100%. What'd you expect me to do? You think I was going to get through those guys? Same thing with Ladd. I'm completely fine with it. You got the yards. You got the first down. Just go down. That's fine. And I don't know about you guys, but when he went down and Quentin Johnson went down, the first thing I thought of was, I really hope someone's on the phone with Tennessee right now. I really hope someone's on the phone with Cleveland right now. Like, we have 2 receivers that can be pretty damn good that are in pretty unhappy situations that are going to probably request out. Let's make sure we get, in those guys' ears and say, hey, what would it take to get Calvin Ridley out of there? Hey, what would it take to get Amari Cooper out of there? Let's stay on those phones, man, because I guarantee you guys going into next week, Quinn Johnson's gonna be questionable, Ladd's gonna be questionable all week. It's gonna be off and on if they practice, even limited practice guys. Let's say it doesn't go our way and they don't play. That's gonna hurt us against Arizona. And Arizona, not a amazing team, Dave, but like if you don't show up, they will beat you.
Not only that, Arizona had an embarrassing loss today. I mean, completely
exactly.
I watched that entire game, and so as we look forward to real quick, but Arizona, number one, doesn't want to have that happen in front of the hometown fans. The turnovers for Arizona, big deal. They'll fix that as well. Green Bay does something, by the way. If anybody caught that game, I know in San Diego that was a national game. They ran that game on irregular television. Green Bay, the amount of turnovers they're able to create. I mean, turnovers are everything in every sport, right? You can sit there and look at an NBA box score and see which team had more turnovers and go, that's the team that lost the game. It's the same thing in the NFL. And for, basically Green Bay to steal 3 possessions, that's big. The Chargers and Jesse Minter, man, they do a lot. And there are guys who stepped up today. Gilman was one of Josh's guys, stepped up big time. Morgan Fox even stepped up. I mean, there are guys that, except Denzel Perriman had a great tackle when they're going for the 2-point conversion. There's so many guys defensively that stepped up for this team. And I know I can read the chats on the side. You guys feel exactly the same way we feel. When you go up and you're shutting them out and you're saying, well, this is going to be a complete blowout. The difference with what the Chargers did in the second half, and I blame Jesse Minter because he's the one that's sitting there trying to guarantee the win. There's a difference of playing to win and playing not to lose. And man, it got a little too close. It went on too long where you're going, what the hell, man? I mean, people want to call it taking your foot off the gas. It wasn't that. They were playing a soft defense. And if you're watching at the same time, I have one of the televisions in front of me that has the Lions Cowboys. Dude, Detroit's not doing that. Detroit is in there and they're like, we are going to run up as many points as we possibly can. We don't care what the score is. We're playing like we're down by 3. And I think that's the best way to attack. When you talk about building a culture, what Jim Harbaugh is doing, that's not what I want to see. I don't want to see another situation because guess what? A good team will catch you and will pass you.
So I don't understand why Jesse Minter went soft in the second half. If you're making Bo Nix rattled in the first half, he had, 4 completions in the first half or into the third quarter. He couldn't get anything going for that offense. They were completely stuffed. But you're going to go soft and give him confidence. You're going to rush 4 guys and not do anything creative to make him stressed out. I mean, we have the dogs on defense to get after the quarterback, right? We have Khalil Mack, Bud Dupree, Tooley. We got linebackers that can run all over the field. Why not make Bo Nix panic? I don't understand why Jesse Minter was playing basically prevent defense and allowing them to pick us apart. Why would not go into the next game against the Cardinals with some confidence? If you're a Chargers fan, we all are, you're thinking we really wanted to shut them out because we had the shutout going and then build into next week against the Cardinals, who might not have Marvin Harrison Jr. because of a concussion. You want the defense to build on that confidence. And same with the offense, Mario. I feel like the offense has really stalled in the third and fourth quarters in most of these games.
They turned into that second half not playing to win, but playing not to lose. That's what I kind of felt like. And it was just decisions that just didn't make sense, right? Like the soft coverage with Jesse Minter. It's like, let's keep turning up the heat and let's send a message. You mentioned the Lions. The Lions were sending a message to the Dallas Cowboys, and it was heard by everyone around the world. Let's do that with our division rival right now with the Broncos. Send a message. And by the way, there's some like personal ties outside of this. The Sean Payton linked to the Chargers this whole time, and then, they don't let go of Staley and he goes to Denver anyways. Don't tell me there's not a little like bad blood in between there on that. Like there is. So that didn't make sense to me at all. If there's any team to do it against where you pour it on them, it's the freaking Denver Broncos. Keep doing it. And it just decisions also offensively on the Chargers' third drive of the second half. The first play, deep ball to Ladd McConkey. Now the Chargers don't get it, but if Ladd catches that, it's probably a touchdown. So I'm thinking, all right, we're sticking with it. We're going to keep freaking owning them. We're going to keep punching them in the mouth. And then on 3rd and 10, we run the ball with J.K. Dobbins right up the middle for 3 yards. And it's like, really? Really? Are we already smoking the cigar on the sidelines? That's what we're doing? Like that's like, come on. And so far this year, ladies and gentlemen, the second half, these other points scored by the Chargers. This game, 3 points. Chiefs game, 0 points. Steelers, 0 points. Panthers, 6 points. Raiders, 16 points. Dave, that's not very good.
No, it's not. Here's the thing. I'm watching the game and I'm thinking, we all know it was 2 Oregon quarterbacks, both wear the same jersey number. I mean, there's so much talk out of Oregon that this is awesome. You have 2 guys from the same school playing in the NFL game. Bo Nix was so beaten and rattled that we had him that I was like, let's not give this guy any confidence at all throughout the rest of the game. We're going to see this. We're going to see this team again. It's not just a matter of, hey, let's have Bo have a horrible afternoon. We want to know when you come to LA later on in the season, you're going to remember today of going, man, I don't know. That defense was suffocating. Instead, I think Bo Nix is literally thinking, if there was one more quarter, we're winning that game. He has confidence. You built his confidence up for the next time they face the Chargers. He sees something now and going, I can pick this Charger defense apart. Cortland Sutton and I were sitting there. We were driving really good. And guess what? If we had a little bit more time, we had all the momentum. The Broncos were going to win that game. I do not believe the Broncos will win that game. But if you're Bo Nix, you're selling yourself going, dude, I have this team. I figured this team out.
If you're Bo Nix, you're feeling confident in a loss. And if as Charger fans, we feel like we almost lost today. I mean, not only did we almost literally lose, but you feel like, yeah, we won, but it wasn't impressive. Nothing to write home about. It's weird, Mario. I hate these types of games where you have all the confidence in the first half and it completely tanks in the second half. We need to give somebody their flowers now, right? We're 14 minutes in this show. J.K. Dobbins. If we did not have J.K. Dobbins on this offense, we would be in deep S. What was your thoughts about J.K. Dobbins today?
I think his reads and bouncing to the outside was perfect today. His ability to notice, all right, like it's time to go this way, it's time to go that way, this hole's open, that's not open. His awareness was exceptional, off the charts. And I think that's what kind of separates him from other running backs in the league. 96 yards total on the ground. He had runs that he made that were huge. He made the very riskiness on the touchdown to extend it when he was very much short. Holy hell, I love that. That's a I got big nuts type of play. And when it works out for you, it works out great. But when it doesn't work out for you, there's gonna be a hole in the wall. Just letting you know. But I thought he was huge for the Chargers. He is our offense right now. He's absolutely our offense. I also thought Vidal. Everyone's been screaming that they want more of him, Dave, and we got more of him. And he caught that great pass on a wheel route. Exceptional pass by Herbert. Caught it in stride. Gets in the end zone. I'm a big fan of him. Also, could you hear after he scored, by the way, of Harbaugh yelling, "Great catch"? Was that the only one that heard that?
No, I didn't catch that.
It was beautiful. It cracked me up. Great catch.
Dude, I love everything about it. I mean, I love the fact that he brought life to the team. Not saying this team needed it, but it was, again, a different guy in a uniform who not only made a great catch, but again, man, he runs, like he has something to prove. Like, this is what you always want as a fan. You want guys to sit there and play every down like they're trying to keep their job. Their job depends on this one down. And that's the way he went about it. And I think that's normal human behavior. And it was great to see him. I'm not saying he's, a future all-pro or that guy or ever going to be a starter in this league, but it was fun. It was exactly what everyone had been writing on the message board and saying, we want to see, because what you had before wasn't working. Nothing against Gus Edwards, but it was nice to see someone else out there picking up the pieces a little bit. You guys are absolutely right, though, on the J.K. Dobbins. Everybody, kissed J.K. Dobbins' ass the first two games because it was the defense that was facing him. Now, we said going into the Steelers game, guess what? It's going to look a lot different. His options and his ability to have success are going to be extremely tough from here on out because they know the game. Man, he had success. Today he had success. And, when you're sitting there trying to figure out how do you stop the Chargers, no offense, again, to them, but facing the Chargers is not like facing the Detroit Lions offense. We're like, man, there's so many weapons. How are we going to stop this? It's kind of like, hey, if we keep everything contained, we should be okay. And I know they lost Patrick Surtain extremely early in the game. I don't think it would have made a difference in the way the Chargers attacked Denver today.
I 100% agree. The way the Chargers offense is, it doesn't matter if you have a big time corner. The Chargers distribute the ball to so many different guys, especially in that first half. People are upset that Brendan Rice isn't active. People want more Stone Smart. What? You're not with that? Let me
tell you. No, I see it. Look, I'm going to tell you guys this. I would love to see Rice be great too. I'd love to see a great father-son story. I'd love to see Rice be like what Ken Griffey Jr. was. You understand? Dude, he sucks. If he was any good, he'd be on this team. He'd be playing. He'd be on the field. Let's just be honest. You don't think Jim Harbaugh is looking for anything right now of somebody that can get open and catch a ball? He is not showing it in practice. We say this every goddamn week. We all want to see it. It's a beautiful story. Guess what? I'm sorry. Brendan Rice's mom had no athletic ability, just like Bronny's mom. I'm sorry. Okay. It is what it is.
I'm play devil's advocate. So people want Vidal before this game, right? Because Gus Edwards was doing nothing. Now Gus Edwards is on IR. The first play Vidal has is a touchdown. Who says Brendan Rice can't do the same thing? He has something in his genes different than everybody else. His dad's the greatest receiver of all time. You wouldn't want to just see what he has. Maybe he doesn't have it.
Well, but just to see. Jim can judge talent? You don't think he can judge talent during the week?
I'm not saying Jim can't judge talent. Dude, I'm looking at these receivers, like you said. We have Simi Fehoko leading the team in yards with 2 catches and 44 yards. Ladd, finally, Mario got what he wanted. Ladd led the team in targets by double, basically everybody else. Ladd was awesome. He's just a little bit injury prone. Quentin Johnston had a very good first half. Stone Smart probably is the best receiving tight end we have on the team. Vidal obviously has the big touchdown. I'm with the fans, though. I want to see Rice get a chance. Just show us that he doesn't have it. What's the one thing you want in life, right? Air and opportunity. He hasn't had any opportunities. Why not give him a shot?
Put that quote on a T-shirt. I've never heard that one before. I like that. I'm going to write that one down. Speaking of the receiving, though, in talking about Rice, this brought something up that I really wanted to talk about. I think this was the first time in a long time today, guys, that I felt it doesn't matter who our receivers are, our quarterback's going to find them. I had that feeling today, especially in the first half. I know the second half kind of dwindled. But especially in the first half, I felt like it didn't matter who was lining up on the outside. If you had a little chance of being open, if you had a little bit of separation, Herbert was going to put it on you. And I love that. And I want that to be built upon throughout the year. And I don't know, Fehoko, Drink a Four Loco. That was a great catch today. That was awesome. And like, who'd have thought that would have happened 2 weeks ago? I sure as hell didn't. Look at just the receptions across the board. 2, 4, 2, 2, 4, 3. Like, it was so evened out of guys getting the ball all around. I think that's a huge part of this offense, Dave, is that it wasn't this one receiver's doing everything. It is done by a big group, and everyone's getting touched and everyone's getting some love.
Yeah, I mean, that it's funny you say that, because I'm watching the beginning of the game, and again, Herbert's finding everybody, and it going, this is what it is. Like, Herbert has to lead the NFL in people he's throwing the ball to. Like it's not just 3 guys. He's throwing the ball to 8 different guys at every game. Everybody's going to get a chance at some point. You better be ready. Look, I'm going to answer Joshua on the side here. Joshua, I am not hearing from the Charger scouts as far as what Rice is doing in practice. I trust what Jim Harbaugh knows about this game. If Rice could help this team, he would be on the field. Do you understand? If Rice's last name wasn't Rice, he wouldn't be on the roster, is what I'm telling you guys. That's just what it is. There are a ton of guys that are decent college receivers that weren't stars in the NFL. But if Rice had any ability at all, he'd be active and he'd be in the offense on a regular basis. They aren't holding him back for the playoffs. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's yet to be seen. Maybe he doesn't play in these next few weeks, but hopefully he does. That's a guy I definitely want to see out there. What do you think about these additions from the Tennessee Titans, Mario? Christian Fulton and Elijah Molden. I feel like they're the 2 most underrated players on this defense. If they're not underrated, if they're not underrated players, people appreciate them. I'll put my hand up. I thought these guys would do nothing. I thought Christian Fulton was a career backup for a reason. I thought Elijah Molden was just a guy that we added to add some depth to the defense. They're both playmakers, and they're guys that are helping the team in a tremendous way.
Dude, I'll go one step further. How about our rookie stepping up, man?
Yeah.
Like, how about still on that deep ball, Broncos first drive? What a play on that. What a stop. If they convert that play, that game's going to feel different, right? Like, that offense, Broncos offense is going to click probably a little bit better. Bo Nix is going to be thinking, hey, I am the best, quarterback out of this rookie class right now. That little instant right there really kind of set the course for the game of how this is going to look. Just every guy on that defense side of the football, Dave, I just have the utmost confidence in. It seems as if every time someone goes out or every time someone steps up, they're just as good as the last guy. And that's an incredible feeling. That's something that the Ravens do very, very well on the defense side of the ball.
All the great teams do, right? I mean, it's so funny the way you talk about the defense right now. I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. I mean, this is exactly what I hope. I can't believe it took less than a year for the Chargers to fix their defense. From what we saw with Staley, we thought this old defense was just terrible all the way through. It's not, right? These guys step up. Guess what? Joey Bosa, we didn't need you. That's just the way it goes. Guys step up. I mean, there were guys that were putting pressure all day long. So for Bo Nix to sit there and say, you know what, that team right there, whether it was Morgan Fox, again, whether it was Gilman, whether it was anybody, man, I didn't have answers for it. I did not have answers for that Chargers defense. And who would have thought it? What I thought was hilarious is when they showed Cortland Sutton one-handed catch and they go, he did this again last year against the Chargers in LA. And then, of course, who was it against? Michael Davis. Like, you're going, look at you. You just caught a stray. You weren't even playing today. It was the worst coverage ever. When they showed the one in Los Angeles that Russell Wilson threw, you're just going, good God, thank God you aren't on the team 43, But this defense is good. By the way, still do not think that was a touchdown.
It was not.
Touchdown. The holding on that play, by the way, Mac, he was getting tackled.
Jeez.
Dude, it was so bad. And then they go to Gene Steratore. He's like, that's not a catch. The ball hit the ground. And then Tiki Barber and McCourty and the announcer, like, yeah, it's not a catch. Touchdown. I'm like, what? Screaming up here, freaking out. I'm like, dude, that's obviously a huge play in the game. How does that happen? How do you go to the instant replay? You see the ball is clearly on the ground, and then you still call it a touchdown. Is that just laziness? Are they trying to make these games closer?
Weak.
It's just weak. It's weak is exactly what it is. Mario, I got a question for you. How soon into a season can you start to judge a draft class? Can we start to judge our draft class?
I think so. I think you can give them a good early grade.
Okay, I'm gonna give the Chargers draft class a grade. We probably should do this midweek, but I'm really hyped on our draft class, dude. I'm gonna go A-. I'm gonna go A- on our draft class. I'm gonna read a few of the names: Joe Alt, Lad McConkey, Junior Colson, Justin Boybe, Terheeb Still, Cam Hart, Kamani Vidal, Brendan Rice, Cornelius Johnson. Every single person except really Brendan Rice, Cornelius Johnson, and Justin Boybe have been pretty good. Junior Colson to me is the one guy that I'm kind of not sure about, man. When I watch Junior Colson play, it seems like he misses a lot of tackles, maybe because he's overrunning it usually, or he just doesn't feel confidence in his ability yet. But for the most part, man, Tarheeb still looks pretty good. Cam Hart looks really good. Joe Alt obviously looks great, and Lad McConkey's our number one receiver. I'll go A- on our draft class.
I'm with you. I give this class an A-, 1,000% over. And I think what we're seeing from Junior right now is a little bit of what we saw from Hemley last year, right? Where like sometimes it's going to take a year, right? And the NFL moves quick. He's been hurt to start the season. I think we're going to see him like slowly improve more and more and more as the season goes on. And then by next year, we're going to go, God, this guy's a hell of a freaking player. I just think that's where his development's going. And I think you can say that also, though, about a lot of guys on our team. I think you say that about Still. You say that about Hart. Hart's just built, Dave, like he's going to be a terrorist for so many quarterbacks in the NFL. You know what I mean? That was definitely a poor choice
I
of
know
words right there. I am so sorry for that. I didn't mean it like that. But you get what I mean? He's going to be a nightmare for quarterbacks. And Lad's only, I mean, I talk about Lad all the time. He's only going to get better. And if you're someone in this chat, Brandon Rice will be really, really good in about 2 minutes.
All right, a couple things right there. There's one here that says we're barely pulling off W's. That's the NFL. I'm sorry, that's the NFL. That's why the point spreads are always around 3. I mean, guys, sometimes you're barely pulling off W's. This is a team again that has won 3 straight games before you beat them today. You know, including a win on the road against Tampa Bay, which is a hard team to stop. I'm not going to say a win's a win, man, in this league. It is hard to win in pro sports, let alone the NFL especially. It is extremely hard to ever win anything. As far as Colson goes, and man, I never played at his position, but when I look at him, and I hope I'm right when I say what I'm about to say, he looks like a guy that is thinking the defense instead of playing. Does that make sense to you?
Because 100%.
Yeah.
When you know what you're doing out there and you're comfortable and you're athletic, things seem to go a lot better. But when you're thinking step by step, it's too late. And so I've seen people right on the side saying he's just not fast enough. I don't think that's it. I think he's honestly thinking about where he's supposed to be, and where he is on the field is a big part of that Charger defense. But it seems like he's reacting instead of playing the game, and I hope that's the case. If that's not the case, we're in trouble. The other thing I was really concerned about Colson when we got him, because we saw it early on, was is this a guy that can stay healthy?
Yes.
You know, because can he stay healthy? And if he can't stay healthy, then you feel like, God dang, you wasted a really high pick on him.
Well, he missed part of training camp because of the appendectomy, right? So I think that's a huge thing. Junior Colson, I 100% agree with you. Junior Colson looks like he's thinking, right? And then you see a guy like Denzel Perryman, who might not be as talented as Junior Colson, but that guy just plays, right? The play that Denzel Perryman made on the 2-point conversion was massive. Like that was a play that you haven't seen a Chargers linebacker make in a long time. That looked like Fred Warner out there just tracking the guy down and getting him out of there. I like what the defense has done, Mario. I hate that Jesse Minter went soft in the second half, but you have to like these young players and the direction that they're going. What was your biggest takeaway from today's game? It was a positive? Was it a negative? Was it both?
I think my biggest takeaway, and just tying on the whole Junior thing, and people are saying in comments, and we all agree with this, it's going to get better, right? Like the thinking that just comes from lack of playing time. You know, mentioned missed time in training camp, missed time in preseason. It's going to get better. So we're not dogging on him at all. But the best thing, or the thing that stood out to me today, guys, and I've hinted at it before, but I'm going to say it again. It was our offense was balanced, and it was a balanced attack. And when your offense is balanced, it's so hard to stop because the defense just doesn't know what to do, doesn't know what to stop. 128 yards on the ground, 222 yards passing, 350 total. That is amazing. You're averaging 4.7 yards per play. That stood out to me right away, and it kept the defense guessing the whole time. You couldn't pack the box. You couldn't, Herbert was doing really well against the blitzes and kind of picking them apart on that. He was picking apart the zone. The other thing I love too today, Dave, we killed it on third down. And the third down, and to the point on that too, it wasn't like our third downs were 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3. They were like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. It wasn't an easy go. It was in favor of the defense, and we were still able to convert. That's huge for me, and that's huge for this team. And that's a bend but don't break mentality. I think when you do good in those situations, those are biggest positives that stayed with me in this game. What about you, Dave?
No, the third down is great. I'm surprised it took us this long to get to that point because it is devastating for a defense. It just is, man. They're thinking, hey, one more play and we're off the field. And then boom, you're on the field again. And you're on the field again. And you're just like, when is this ever going to stop? Like, we're trying to do our job and we can't. And they're slowly basically killing us here. And so what were the Chargers able to do? The offense was crisp. I mean, what can you say? With the very little superstar talent, it was a very crisp. And, Justin Herbert did a great job. I was disappointed to see some passes get knocked down again. That was one of those things we used to complain about. But I'm sure Justin Herbert's nowhere close to being 100% healthy with ankle. But at the same time, man, his pocket presence was great. I'm watching Justin Herbert. I'm looking at Bo Nix in the first half, and I'm going, this is the difference of a veteran quarterback and a rookie quarterback. And I was glad we had the veteran. I was very pleased with what I saw. I know they're going to get on the plane, and I know they're going to come back to LA, and they're all going to have a great time and celebrate all the way through. I just wish it didn't feel like you're holding on for dear life at the end of the game instead of feeling like complete domination. And I just thought basically the rhythm of the game was we could have gone in that locker room, got on that plane, feeling like we completely dominated a team inside our division.
Yeah, I'll take a win in any way I can. The 20-play drive was something that stuck out to me. I never thought the Chargers would ever have a 20-play drive during this season with the guys they have on that team. But it also goes into the thing that will stick out the most to me from this game. My takeaway is the distribution between Justin Herbert and his receivers and tight ends. Everybody got involved in this game in the first half. It's something that we definitely wanted to see. We didn't want Ladd McConkey or QJ or Josh Palmer getting every single target. He really spread the ball around. I think that's a great sign from Justin Herbert to show that he's making the right reads. It doesn't matter if your name is Ladd McConkey. If you're the guy that's open, you're going to get the ball. You could be Will Disley or Stone Smart. It doesn't matter, and that's a trait of a great quarterback. I want to get to some of the start comments, Mario, if you don't mind. I'm going to start with AK. He's right here at the beginning. AK 199 says, 1 down, 5 to go for AK. Let's go. AK, if they go on a 6-game winning streak, I will send you back all of the money that you sent us during these chats. Okay? And I'll be happy to do it.
Yeah, I'll
be happy to do it. Next one comes from Randy, $10. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. No
Thanks,
comment,
Randy.
but just $10. Next one comes from Mighty. It says, what about that touchdown they gave the Broncos? That was clearly not a touchdown. I know we already harped on this, but I don't understand how that could happen in the NFL when they have instant replay and 1,000 different camera angles.
It's the NFL. That's what's frustrating. It's the NFL. It's not some BS league. It's the NFL. That was not a touchdown. I don't understand.
Yeah, we already harped on this. It just was not a touchdown. What do you got to say?
It's just a classic, another big mistake by the referees, but this was a side thing in another game. Did you guys watch the Commanders-Ravens game and see that they missed 2 very clearly helmet-to-helmet hits on Daniels? Or was that the only one? No. Okay, you saw it by Kyle Hamilton. Yeah. I saw those hits. I'm like, dude, if that was Patrick Mahomes, that guy would be banned from the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, you know what? That's a major problem in this league. I mean, there are superstars. I mean, the quarterbacks are superstars, but it seems like they make these guys earn their stripes. I'm sorry, but that guy already is a star. Jaden, he's already a star. And to sit there and put him at risk, I did not understand any of that. Again, I always go back to Cam Newton, one of my least favorite NFL players of all time. Right now, he's still one of my least favorite people. Is Cam Newton did take a beating. Like, he was completely playing in a different league than Tom Brady at that time. I don't know. Yeah. It's old. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not for the earning your stripes either. If you're in the NFL, you're already a beast.
Exactly.
Everybody should play by the same rules. This is a good comment. It says from Roberto Castellon 199. It says Chargers culture is changing, isn't it? Bolt the F up. Dude, I'm going to disagree. Chargers culture is blowing it in the second half. And today, the Chargers almost blew it in the second half. I love what they did in the first half. We all love what they did in the first half. But Chargers culture is charging it. And I haven't seen yet that the Chargers will not do that going forward.
I'll say this. Last year's Chargers would have lost this game. Last year's Chargers would have let out that 2-point conversion. That's where I'll go, all right, the culture is changing. And the domination of the run game that we did again today, that's when I'll say the culture is changing. By the way, the stomping that we did to them on the ground defensively too, Javonte Williams, 23 yards on the ground today. on 6 carries. The only person that ran the ball well, Dave, was Bo, and that's because we were just sprinting right at him, and you're like, ah! And then he would just like spin out of it. And we were like trying to like scare him and not tackle him. So
No, it was again. It was one of those. I was thinking, man, would we have lost this game? I don't think we would have had a 20-0 lead with what we had in the past. I mean, the game plan was very, very good. You know, tip my hat at the beginning. By the way, what's the deal with Greg Roman with the broken toothpick in his mouth? Like, dude, that's not going to go well. Like, it's dangerous enough to sit there and get excited with the toothpick in your mouth, period. But to have that thing split in half and then half of it's up your nose and half of it's in your mouth and you're making that L shape, you're like, dude, how about another toothpick? You know, what's going on here? Let's change this thing up before you choke to death right on TV.
Yeah, he's like getting something out of his teeth with one side and then picking for gold with the other.
Yeah.
What was up with that toothpick?
like it's like be a man, pack his in. Yeah.
Yeah. Grow up.
Yeah.
Blaze Gaspari, 1999. Thank you so much. It says, smoke that shit, Dave. Bolt the
I
F
am.
up. Also, Marvin Harrison Jr. concussion will definitely help us next week. So I don't know. Does he have to sit out the game next week if he has a concussion, or does he just have to go through protocol?
He has to go through protocol. It is extremely rare that they play the next week. And if last year I can't remember who it was, but last year someone did play after and they got like fined by like the NFL came out hard on you on it. And Malik Neighbors was in a similar situation a week ago. I would say they're gonna say questionable all week. He's doubtful. There's no way in hell they're gonna let him play.
I think as a rookie, there's no way he plays. I mean, concussion alone, he's not going to play. A rookie, I just don't see him seeing the field next week, or at least that's what I want to believe.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know what? In his mind, he has this game circled on his calendar, not because the Chargers had a chance of getting him, but because as a rookie, this is your first national TV game, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the game where no one else is playing at that time. The entire league watches Monday Night Football. You know, this is, you know, yeah, he was great in college. He was great, you know, obviously coming into the draft this early. But still, this is when the rest of the league watches you play because Tuesday is an off day for everybody. And everyone watches Monday Night Football in the NFL. And who's like, this is damn going to shine. Watch this. And then, unfortunately, it's not going to be able to play. You know, I'm going to do what most of you people on the side are doing here. By the way, please subscribe and like. I see some of the people are so nice to remind the people in the chat, please like the show. If you like the show, if you don't like the show, I'm sorry. We're doing the best we can. But please give a thumbs up. You know, when you find out, you know, he has a concussion, first thing in my head is good, you know, and that's bad to say. Okay. I understand that's bad to say, but at the same time, I watch this thing every week and I've watched for years. I just want the Chargers to win. That's it. You know,
You're crazy.
I'm not crazy. You think the same thing, you liar. You know, you're thinking the same damn thing. Mac, I don't like what I saw against Aiden Hutchinson today. That was really sad to see. Okay. Yeah. But at the same time, if I'm in that division, there's part of me that goes good. You know, I don't have to deal with that guy anymore. That guy is dangerous to our quarterback, and we need that guy to have success. Sounds awful to say, but come on, let's all be honest here.
I think
advantage you can get.
I think the same thing in fantasy football. If the guy I'm going against, the guy gets dinged up. I'm not like rooting for them to have like concussions.
Let's be clear on that. Not rooting for it.
No, I've never rooted for a player to get hurt ever. But I'm saying once it happens, I go, kind of benefits us, you know. You know,
it's one of those things you think in your head, but you don't say on a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody would say that out loud.
You never say on a podcast.
No,
ever. All right. Next comment comes from Alana Moore, $5. It says, "Just showing love. I love these shows. Thank you all for contributing time to us Bolts fans.
Thank you very much. Too.
Much love.
Actually, this is fun for us. We enjoy it just as much as you do." Next one comes from Richie Farley, $5. Said this is exactly what Mario said. "Shout out to the refs for missing an obvious holding call on Mac and then calling a TD for Cortland Sutton when he clearly lost possession of the football."
Exactly.
I mean, Khalil Mack, I swear to God, gets held all the time. They'd only call it rarely. Next one comes from Ryan Culpepper, $10. Says, "Great post-game podcast as usual. Let's not forget that the Raiders lost today too. We retain second place right now, which means we're still on track for a wild card spot. Both the F up." Did anybody watch the Raiders game? I know we're all focused on the Chargers. Holy crap. Dude, it was unbelievable. You think the Chargers charger it, the Raiders Raider it. Like every time the Raiders made a big play, it was either roughing the passer. There was like 4 roughing the passers on Justin Fields. They fumbled on the goal line. The game wasn't even close. Dude, it was close. Like the Raiders could have easily been in that game, but they killed themselves.
Yeah.
They were all self-induced penalties.
Dude, the Raiders thought they scored a touchdown, and then the guy didn't get in, and then on the next play they fumble it on the one.
Yeah,
Like it's
it
just
was
like
great.
Okay, so here's the deal, and I know on Tuesdays we usually wrap up the rest of the NFL. So for my situation, I had the Charger game with the volume on, then I had another TV with Dallas, Detroit, and then another TV watching Raiders, Steelers. But the volume was up on the Charger game. Max Crosby looks like he's had enough. Like it looked like I wish they would have pulled the camera. I thought Max Crosby was about to jump in the stands and fight somebody. You see him lose his mind at the end of the game?
Okay, so you
He
saw that
hit
too? He shoved the coach?
Yeah. Two-hand shove right in the chest. It wasn't like a hell yeah shove. It was get the F out of my face shove.
Yeah.
And then he went to the stands, and there was a bunch of screaming at a fan who said, "You guys suck." I'm sure that was the comment. And he looked like, I'm going. Like, hold my helmet because I'm jumping in the stands. I'm taking out a couple people. Yeah, dude, he's had it. He's definitely had it. So, by the way, we didn't get to. I'll let you get to what you're going to say, but I'll forget because I meant to say 20 minutes ago, and someone brought it up in the chat. The Titans, as far as trades go, Josh, you mentioned the guys that the Chargers got. The Titans have 4 receivers that are doing absolutely nothing, not because they completely suck, but because Will Levis can't get them the ball. Dude, I'll take 1, if not 2 of them. They have 4 guys who could get the job done in Los Angeles with the Chargers right now.
How are the Chargers? I'm sure they are. How are you not monitoring the Cleveland Browns and Tennessee Titans situation? You have to, especially in the current situation we have. You got Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper with the worst quarterback ever. Don't say anything about they're not producing. Go watch the Cleveland Browns game. Nobody's getting the ball. And then you watch the Tennessee Titans with Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins.
And
There's
Burks.
nothing going on there either. And who?
Burks.
Oh, Burks as well. Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
The Chargers, you got to get one of those guys. You have to, especially in this situation where we're fighting for the wild card spot.
And at some point, the Titans got to think about like themselves in the future, right? Like very clearly, Will Levis is not the guy. Same with the Browns. Like very clearly, Deshaun Watson's not the guy, and you're paying him a lot of money. And at some point, you got to decide: are we going to stay in purgatory, or we're going to stay believing in this unit that's clearly not going to accomplish anything, or we're going to go the route of time to rebuild, time to say it all goodbye. Let's build up some draft capital now, gentlemen. Like we might as well. And we're 5 weeks, 6 weeks into the season. There's enough, product right now. There's enough, evidence right now. Everyone kind of knows who they are. Everyone's shaping into the team that we believe them to be. There's no surprises anymore, right? Everyone kind of knows where everyone sits at. Let's start being friendly and start, letting some guys go. And Chargers, please be aggressive. Because if you're not going to be aggressive about it, we're one injury away from being in real trouble.
Yeah, Eddie Dale Jr. right here says, do not trade for a wide receiver, get a fresh young wide receiver in the draft. You can do both. This is why you absolutely have to trade for a wide receiver now. This is a playoff team. Look at it. Look at the schedule the rest of the way. This is a team that should make the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, but this is a team that I think makes the playoffs. And it's something to build on if you make it into the dance going into next year's training camp, that we were a playoff team. And so the next step is, of course, you want to go to the Super Bowl. But at the same time, to sit there and throw the season away because, you're deficient in wide receivers, you can go ahead and get guys. Look, Cleveland's a complete mess, to Josh and Mario's point. Deshaun Watson is taking up so much money. And they're screwed. And I hate Cleveland. I mean, we spoke about that contract when it was signed and going, dude, you gave him a guaranteed deal. Like nobody gets a guaranteed deal in the NFL. You don't have to give him a guaranteed deal. They gave him a guaranteed, $240 million. Insane. Deshaun Watson quits every week. I watch these Browns games. He looks like the worst teammate, the worst person you want as the face of your organization. At the same time, Will Levis stinks. The Titans know he stinks. I'm one of these weirdos that watches every single Titans game just because I told you, if you follow the show for a long time, my dad was a decade older, so I root for the Titans just because if my dad was still alive, he'd be rooting for the Titans. The Titans literally could be undefeated with a quality quarterback. Every one of their games they're in, and then they lose because of Will Levis. They aren't a good team, but they're good enough to win the games that they're losing. You see what I'm saying? If you had somebody that could direct that team, if Justin Herbert was on the Titans, they'd be undefeated right now.
Yeah, they probably would be. Would be. I'd look at the Jacksonville Jaguars too. That team is falling apart.
You saw the comments today from Doug Peterson. We've got a lot of guys that quit. Well, dude, you're probably going to get fired tomorrow just for that line.
That's weird, Doug. I think that's your job to make sure they don't quit. Why don't you just stay in England?
such a sign that you're about to get fired, by the way. That's a good. A lot of guys quit today.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. You might as well quit 'cause you're going to get fired. You know,
I
that's
feel
a
like
good
that's on your
look.
watch. I think it's in the job
Exactly.
description. Make sure your players don't quit. All right, next one comes from Ricardo Sotosen to Dave. It says, is that a Honduran or Cuban cigar?
It's God dang it. What do I have here? I got it's not Cuban. I wish it was. It's an Arturo Fuente cigar. It's a whole box. Whatever, wrong side. Sorry.
Contact us for sponsorship.
That's it. Yeah, no kidding, please. And I can't, I don't know if you guys know this. I've been trying to figure out which way the cigar is blowing the smoke. That guy got the door open to go outside over here, but it just hit me in the face. I had to switch hands, but I'm right-handed, so it's kind of messing me up. I can't check the box score. Sitting there, trying not to choke because I know you guys would laugh at me if I choked at the same time smoking.
I would love if you.
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be so
I've
fun.
I've been smoking a lot of them during the playoffs. That's for damn sure. For the baseball playoffs, I've been so goddamn nervous.
Well,
Dude,
speaking of that,
yeah, you're gonna seem like James Earl Jones by the end of the show, dude.
Dude, I wish
Smoking
James Earl
so
Jones had a great voice. I wish.
All right, next.
Yeah.
Next, I'm gonna finish with that one, Mario. Actually, go to the one below it, if you don't mind.
Okay.
This one comes from Randy. $10. Thank you. I'll start with Mario. Do you guys think Joey Bosa gets released at the end of the season?
I wouldn't be surprised if he retires, just because of his body, like giving out. He's mentioned it on the Chris Long podcast, kind of where he's at mentally and physically. At some point, you gotta listen to your body and go, "This is enough." He's had a long career. He's got a lot of money.
Stop.
What are we doing?
Long career?
In the NFL, what does the NFL stand for?
games or
Not for
years?
long. Dude, that's a pretty damn long for the NFL. You're not in there a long time.
He's the fourth pick that never lived up to the hype.
Dude, it doesn't matter. He's been in the league since 2016.
He's the fourth pick.
Time.
8 years? 8 years for the fourth pick.
Time.
Hold on
it's a
second.
long time.
Okay, all right. NFL.
Josh Rosen was in and out in 3.
Josh Rosen's an idiot. Josh Rosen treated people like dirt. Josh Rosen was never that guy. He obviously was drafted way too high. Joey Bosa drafted too high, obviously. 8 years for the fourth pick is too long. I mean, it's not long enough. If you're drafted that high, you're top tier. You're an all-pro player, right? That's what the fourth pick is. Look at the guys that are drafted around him. They're still in the league, and that was a very good draft. Ezekiel Elliott's holding on by a thread, but he's still in the league, right? And Ezekiel Elliott has had a much better career than Joey Bosa has. Jalen Ramsey was right there too. Ezekiel Elliott has had a better career than Joey Bosa has. Ezekiel Elliott was the best player at his position at one point. Joey Bosa was never the best player at his position.
Really, though? In those Derrick Henry years, he was better than Henry?
Ezekiel Elliott was right there as one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the NFL. Joey Bosa was never the best edge rusher in the NFL.
I would counter that where it's hard. In this day and age, though, it's that pool is infiltrated. Like, that pool is massive, Like, he came in during the legendary Watt years. Like, some of those Watt years would beat out Lawrence Taylor, crap. Like, come on. They had a Mac in that time, too.
Ezekiel Elliott's first year in the NFL, he had 1,600 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns, first AP All-Pro first team, third in the MVP. Has Joey Bosa ever had a season close to that? You got Rookie of the Year. I understand. He was great. Ezekiel Elliott was better his rookie year. And Ezekiel Elliott has had 4,000-yard seasons. Joey Bosa is one of my least favorite Chargers of all time. Hands down. Least favorite Chargers of all time.
4 Pro Bowls.
I'm not saying Joey Bosa's a bad look.
Hold on.
I'm not saying Joey
Pro
Bosa's
Bowl.
bad, but you can't say that. Do you think he ever lived up to the hype as the fourth pick?
Yeah, that's hard, man. I wouldn't say he's lived up to the hype as a fourth pick. I think that's tough. And that Pro Bowl line was just to piss off Dave because because Trubisky was in it at one point.
Yeah, it's when you're all pro means you're one of the best. Pro Bowl.
All pro, yes.
Yeah, I mean the backup quarterback of the Ravens made the Pro Bowl a couple years ago. Remember that?
Yeah, that was insane. Well, now it's really bad. Now it really doesn't mean anything. Yeah, now it means that you played the whole year and your team didn't make the playoffs.
Just a couple things on Bosa. All right, just some of the guys in that draft around him. Jared Goff went number 1. Yeah, of course, Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Ramsey, Ronnie Stanley from the Ravens. You had Derrick Henry. You also had Chris Jones. I mean, could you make an argument that Chris Jones is a better player than Joey Bosa?
He is.
An argument?
Yeah.
There's no argument.
I was
I was
being
about to say.
sarcastic.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. You're making a joke. Okay.
Yeah. So here's the deal. When Joey Bosa talks about retiring, you know what? It's not a matter of what his body is and this and that. It's what his bank account is. He doesn't need to do this anymore. He doesn't need to do it. I'm sorry. I agree with Dana White when he says, when you talk about retiring, you've already retired.
Yeah, I do believe that.
Frustrating.
I'm just for the sake of conversation.
You want to go back and answer that question? Do you think so? You guys say retires, he doesn't get released.
Okay,
Well, dude,
go back to the question.
Why are we even talking about this? We just won a game.
Someone brought it up.
Yeah, I didn't pay for this.
So
I know. One question.
Somebody woke up and chose violence. I don't know what to tell you.
Look, if you guys are going to compare Joey Bosa to Larry English, then Joey Bosa is the greatest football player of all time. I'm not comparing him to Larry English. Larry English was never as hyped as Joey Bosa, ever.
Yeah. No one knew who Larry English was in college. Everybody knew who Joey Bosa was in college.
I just doesn't hope Joey Bosa either that his brother is a better player.
He's great. I tell you, he's going to be.
He had a great game on Thursday.
He always has a great game. He always has a great game. Going back to what Josh said years ago, we always get the crappy brother. You want to go through the list again, Josh?
You do this all the time. I don't remember the list.
Okay.
I'll go quickly.
We got Derek Watt. We had Derek Watt. We didn't get TJ. We didn't get JJ. We got Derek. We didn't have the good Pouncey brother.
We didn't have the good Gronkowski.
We got the crappy Gronkowski brother. One of them. You know what I mean?
And everyone just found out that there was a Gronkowski brother.
Dude, we never get the good brother. There's a list of 5 of them, and we never get the good one.
Got Jim Harbaugh.
We had Jim,
the good brother.
I don't know.
John. I mean, if you're talking about who you want to get a beer with, I'd argue I'd go John.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then
Jim's
on
the
this
kind of guy that wants to fight in the parking lot after you got a couple drinks. Like, hey, you want to wrestle? And I don't want to wrestle.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't.
John doesn't want to fight in the parking lot. Just says, hey, can I call you an Uber?
I'm gonna be honest.
Hey, you want to wrestle?
I do love a good wrestle after a night.
Dude, that is a brilliant. And Jim would do it where he takes his shirt off too, so he gets his sweat on you. It's bad enough to wrestle another man, but then he'd sweat on you too.
All right, Eddie Dale Jr. I'm sure you're a great human being. Your comment is, "Hey Josh, Bosa's third all time in franchise forced fumbles and sacks."
Okay.
Manny Machado is the Padres' all-time leading home run leader. It doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean much. The Chargers don't have this great list of edge rushers in their history. I mean, Joey Bosa to me is a fine football player. He's good. He never lived up to the potential of what he was supposed to be. That's the fact of the matter. And if he retires at the end of the year, like Mario said, I don't think any of us would be that surprised, because if you listen to the Chris Long podcast, like Mario said, he's thinking about retirement. So if it happens, it happens. I'm all on the Thule train, that he's going to be great going forward. So next question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Eddie Ramirez.
Speaking of pause, Jason McCourty was all over the place today. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, take a few plays off, Jason.
Quick thing, too, before we get to this last comment, because I know this one's going to take us to us crapping on people in baseball, which, by the way, becoming a big casual fan of baseball. But
good.
Yeah, I'm liking this Mets run. I'm adopting them as a favorite team. I am up to giving them back as soon as they lose. That's how I would do that. In the meantime, the thing I wanted to bring up was how many times in this game did the Broncos really shoot themselves in the foot? The
holding play on the Cortland Sutton 46-yard catch.
Yeah, you can literally feel the stadium gain all the energy, and then it get wiped away.
I thought the Broncos crowd was phenomenal, right? Any little thing they had, they jumped on it. They did great, right? As a crowd, they shot themselves in the foot, like you said.
Yeah, I'll give them that. And guys, we haven't even mentioned this, but how big is this for playoffs too?
Huge. I mean, we said on this show, if you win the games you're supposed to, this is a playoff team. They had to win today's game, right? The Chargers are the better team. Huge.
Absolutely. I mean, now because you beat the Broncos, you're in second place. You have the same record, but you're in second place.
All right, this is a very heated topic right here. We're going to end on this. This comes from Eddie Ramirez, 199. Dave, let's hear you go in on the Padres. Dave is obviously a huge diehard Dodger fan that lives in San Diego.
Yeah,
And
well,
his
I was born in
address
LA.
is
I was born in LA. I love LA. That's it. I'm not gonna lie. I became a bigger Charger fan when they moved to LA. What do you think of that? I know that probably hurts a lot of people. I used to cover the team all the time. It was a lot easier for me to drive 20 minutes to cover a game. I used to leave my house at 11. I'd be home by 5:30. It was great. Now when I used to go up to LA to cover the game, I used to leave at 8 in the morning, I'd come back at 8 o'clock at night. So yeah, that was a little bit of a transition. That's nothing. I don't hate San Diego. I'll say this for anyone that has followed me on radio for a number of years. This city has been really good to me and good to my kids. It's not it. My problem is, and this is going to hurt a lot of Padre fans out there, you as fans drive me out of my mind. All right. It's not even the franchise and the team. Your fandom is so ridiculous. It's insane. When the series was tied 1-1, everybody walked around San Diego like you already won the series. It wasn't over. Like, don't you guys know anything about karma and superstition when it comes to sports? There's not one trophy case in this whole freaking town, unless you want to count the one from the 2009 Little League World Series. Nobody's ever won jack squat in this town. It's ridiculous. You know, there's an empty trophy case, if there is one, where a guy's just standing there with a rag waiting to open the door to take the dust out because there's nothing to dust. But yet you guys act like you're the 27 Yankees with all your championships. Calm down. The trash talking is insane. It's embarrassing already. The fact you can't build anything in San Diego really frustrates me. The fact that you let the Chargers walk right out the door, going, we're just going to go ahead and get the Jacksonville Jaguars to move here. Well, how has that worked out for you? Jacksonville's not coming here. There's a better chance they move to London than they ever moved to San Diego. Where would they play? Your backyard? There's nowhere to play. They don't build anything here. You can't build a sandwich in this town. So what are you going to do? That little minor league football stadium you built for San Diego State, there's nowhere to play. And I got news for you. If you're one of those guys that was a San Diego Charger fan, I'm sure a lot of you were, now you're LA Charger fans. Good for you for following the team. Dude, there's not an NFL team will ever come back to San Diego. You know why? Because you'd have to build the stadium first. You think taxpayers are going to guarantee and say we're going to build a $5 billion stadium and then beg the NFL for a chance to have another NFL team? Dude, you lost the Houston Rockets. You lost the LA Clippers. You lost the LA Chargers. I hate to tell you, this is a town that doesn't support building stuff and supporting them. Padre fans at the stadium, you guys are outstanding. Honestly, might be the loudest, most rocking stadium in all of baseball. You guys do a great job with your team right there. At the same time, you didn't win jack, and you guys talk so much trash. I will say this, as a diehard Dodger fan, though, I've never been more nervous in my life than I was in games 4 and 5. Like, I thought I was having panic attacks. There are times as Josh made fun of me because Josh and I don't talk during the games. Josh is a Padre fan. I literally paused the TV, and I got to wait till my heart rate settles down and then turn the TV back on, and then I fast forward through the commercial breaks. Yeah, I know. It was tough. But I'll say this, as a Dodger fan, you guys scared the hell out of me. I didn't think we had it. All our guys are injured. We had 12 pitchers on the injured list. We did it with smoke and mirrors, just the way the Chargers won today. You did what you had to do, okay? But next year is going to be a little bit tougher because Shohei Ohtani is going to pitch. And we're going to spend a little bit of money and possibly get Blake Snell or Corbin Burns. We're going to be even better next year. That's what's going to happen, and it's going to hurt, okay? And I'm going to be here for it. And you know what keeps me up at night? The fact that Josh is a Padre fan and knowing I'm the last generation of Dodger fans in my life, that it will end with me. It really bothers me.
My kid could be a Dodger fan. My kid could be a Dodger fan.
And every time I see Josh, when he starts having kids, guess what? Grandpa's bringing over Dodger gear for that kid. Nonstop. Guy, girl, doesn't matter. I'm bringing over Dodger gear every time.
You like give him a tattoo?
That's it.
Yeah,
tattoo's great.
Yeah.
Great. Give him whatever you want. As long as it's not a Joey Bosa jersey.
Let's be honest. The New York Yankee logo is awesome. It's a cool logo, right? The NY. It looks sweet.
It's funny enough you say that. I was really walking around the mall yesterday, and there was
everybody looks cool in a Yankee hat. Everybody does.
It's a sick hat.
And it's the one place where you can fly around the world. No matter where you Istanbul, there's going to be someone wearing a Yankee hat. It's just what it is. But this logo looks pretty cool too. I'll leave it at that. All right. That's it.
To his point, I will say, Josh, that when the series was 1-1, by how pumped Padres fans were, I thought it was 2-0 until I turned the game on. And I kept saying, like, all day, this is a pretty must-win for the Dodgers. And I turned the game on. I was like, oh, it's 50-50 series.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't even leave my house after 8 o'clock. I couldn't go out in public after 8 o'clock in the morning here. People cuss at me nonstop. No joke. People
Start
yell
it.
F you at me. I did start it.
It's
But
not like you
yell
just
F
people
you
just
at me
do
at the
that.
gas station. They do now.
Yeah, I've said this on the show a couple years ago when we first started. There's people out there, Mario, that have weird fetishes.
Yeah.
You know, like feet or something, where they're really into that.
Rex Ryan.
Dave has a weird fetish. I'm gonna explain it on this show. He loves when people talk crap to him. Like,
Yeah.
loves it, dude.
I do.
Like, loves it. Like, if somebody told me to go F myself, it would ruin my whole day. When I used to live with him, I'd wake up at 7 a.m. for work, and he'd be like, dude, like at the bottom of the stairs, like, you wouldn't believe it. I'm like, what happened? Like, good news? Like, 4 people told me to go F myself on Twitter. I'm like, why are you happy about that?
Dude, it's up to over 100 now. It during the playoffs, it was like crazy, man. I had to take my watch off. It kept buzzing nonstop. I couldn't take it anymore.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's true.
God.
But I do. Josh is right. I like to get a reaction. I do. I like to get a reaction. A little
All
dangerous.
right, let's wrap up the show. Let's hit some points. Let's summarize today's show. Chargers win. Look great in the first half, not great in the second half. We're ready for Joey Bosa to retire. And Dave obviously is a huge Dodger fan. Is there anything else that we missed, Mario?
Me and you are big Mets fans now. And now it's war on
There
our
you
show.
go.
Yeah. Comment below whose corner you're in. Dave's corner or Josh's and I corner.
I will say this. I will say that you might not believe me or not, but 100% mean it. If the Dodgers would have lost to the Pods, I would have cheered for the Pods the rest of the way just because I know Josh is that big of a Padre fan. Like, he is a diehard Padre fan.
Okay.
I would have. All right, wait till you have a kid. You'll see. You'll say the same thing. You don't want to see your kid upset. I didn't. Did I call and gloat to you, Josh, when the Dodgers won?
No, you
Not
never
at all.
do that. Yeah, I hate people
I'm
like
not that guy.
actually.
I didn't even talk trash on Twitter when it was. I talked trash on Instagram, but I didn't talk trash on Twitter. Honestly, if you love baseball, it's great for all of Southern California when the Padres and Dodgers are both good at the same time. We haven't had it like this before.
I am the king of if, for example, I'm in like a group chat, a lot of Ohio State guys. I am the king of as soon as they lose,
yeah,
I am sending a text then. Like, as soon as it goes 0, I'm firing one out. Like, I love that. I love nothing more than, or like, I've mentioned this before, but like at a bar and everyone's on something and I try to bet the other side. And as soon as I win, I make sure my voice is heard.
I love that.
There you go. There you go. All right. So we'll be back on Tuesday. All right. We'll talk more Charger football, get an idea of some of these injuries. I am curious, though, when the story comes out, we'll see if the Chargers are truthful or not. What happened with Jim Harbaugh? Like, how
they said it already.
Oh, they did. They
did.
did. Yeah.
What I missed?
Yeah.
Tell me.
His heart, basically. I can't pronounce this.
It was, I cannot pronounce it either, but hold on, let me find it because I just hearted it on social media.
Was it the air, the thin air?
It was a atrial flutter
ATRIAL
flutter episode. It's something he's been dealing with since like the 90s.
Really?
Yeah, and just he had a flare up.
He had a fib. I guess.
Yeah,
a fib.
AFib.
Or
everybody
AFib.
seems to know.
AFib. Yeah,
we're definitely not smart people.
As soon, you know what sucked about that, Josh, is when you were, I was like, all right, good, Josh is gonna read it, and then when you were not reading it, I was like, all right, here we go. I was like, low chance of getting this one right.
That is funny.
Oh man,
that was funny. All right, we'll be back on Tuesday. We'll talk more about what's going on at the Chargers, what's next as well, as far as getting ready for the next big game. Should be exciting, man. Let's put that win streak together here. I think they can do it looking at that schedule. Man, I always feel so much better, man, on a Sunday when your team wins, right? You wake up tomorrow morning and first thing you think about, man, my team won. You say whatever you want and think that's crazy. That's what sports is, but sports has always been entertainment that we put everything into. And if you're listening to the show right now, you're one of those guys that just like us. You're one of those people just like us. So again, before you leave, if you get a chance, please give that thumbs up or subscribe. If you didn't catch the show live and you're watching on YouTube, please leave your comments and we'll respond to all those as well, like we always do. Again, for Mario Heron, Josh Palais, I'm Dave Palais. Thanks again for listening to the Bulk Crew podcast. We'll see you next time.